Hello my friends, Mia DeBolt here, bringing you more transparency in trading. Thank you so much for joining me on this special day. I'm not going to be talking about my FTMO challenge or my funded trader challenge because this is a bonus video that I promised in the previous video that I shot. Alright, so without further ado, what is this profound discovery that I've made that helps me to look and see reversals as well as retracements? Wouldn't you like to have that power as well? So it's something that we have to train our eyes to see. However, it's hiding within plain sight. I really think that it's going to be powerful for your trading. And I do believe that it is what smart money and what banks actually use for their higher time frame. So first and foremost, I do have to give credit where credit is due. I learned about this one concept from ICT on February 9th. However, he hasn't really mentioned it since then. So he may be teaching it, he may not, I don't know. However, it's something that I discovered in my recent backtesting and I wanted to share it with you. Okay, so what is this special discovery? Well, I like to call it the O candle. No, it's not that. Okay, so without being silly, we know that there's bullish candles and there's bearish candles. However, the O candle is something that actually makes you really excited when you see it because it's something that's indicating that the algorithm is going to do something that you can predict and that you can anticipate. All right, so without further ado, let's dive into the charts. I'll share with you what O actually stands for so that you can use it to predict any kind of reversals or any kind of retracements. All right, my friends, there is one caveat that I want to share with you though. This is not a strategy that you just use and you throw everything out the window. So all the fundamentals, everything that ICT has taught from here as far as price action, fair value gaps, order blocks, it all applies. And so you still have to have the narrative, you still have to have liquidity, you still have to have where the draw on liquidity is going to be. So don't throw out the fundamentals. This is just added confirmation and a way that you might be able to train your eye to see some reversals and anticipate where price is actually going to go next. Okay, so February 9th, ICT actually shared an overlapping candle, and that was the first time that I'd ever seen it and heard about it. So this is definitely a concept that he unveiled. It was on the 2-minute time frame, and so this is just my notes from the morning. I think that he was actually live streaming, and it was one of his very first live streams. So it was very informative, and I learned a lot from that. Okay, so this is my interpretation of what he actually shared. So he just talked about this overlapping candle. However, there's more overlapping candles, and if you can see these and anticipate these, this is really powerful. So that's where I want to draw your attention, because this overlapping candle, while he was talking about this being a balanced price range, this is where price should not go back up to. It can overlap and it can go up to the top of the overlap. These are entry points where you can actually enter a sell. These are even more powerful. So these are what I'm actually going to be talking about. So the O candle is actually an overlapping candle. So again, it's an ICT concept that I've kind of put on steroids. Okay, so here's the NASDAQ. So I wanted to share this with you because these overlapping candles, these O candles, can actually be seen on all different time frames. So price action is fractal. No matter what time frame you're at, you will see the same patterns and see the same types of moves and the same type of candles on all different time frames. So this is where the weekly of the NASDAQ actually shows a retracement here. So what's important about this is that on the weekly, it had overlapping candles and it was showing a retracement right afterwards. So what I like about this is I believe this is the balanced price range he's talking about. This overlapped a little bit, and so it propelled price down. This was the draw on liquidity, but right here it was taking liquidity. So it had already taken liquidity, so you can anticipate a bullish week of some sort. So again, this is on the weekly chart, and so it's just another indication that this O candle can be found on all different time frames. Okay, so I wanted to show the ES because that's really the one that I trade. It's the one that ICT trades, and so this is the one that you can see here. This is the E-mini contract for June, and you can see all of the price action for June. Now, what I actually did was I printed out 2020 to 2023, and so I looked back in historical data, and this happens a lot. So on the daily chart, you can see here that we had an overlapping candle. This is what tipped me off. All right, so the very next day, I was expecting a bearish candle. Then we had another overlap. And so today, I actually called on Twitter that it was going to be a bullish day. So I was anticipating this bullishness. And so that's kind of where I really got excited, because the proof in the pudding is where the bullish candle ended. So I have a lot of examples I'm going to run through, because this O candle is really powerful. If you can start training your eye to see this, it'll be very powerful for your trading. All right, so just like I said, there's two overlapping green candles, bullish candles, two overlapping bearish candles, and then there's a bullish candle there. Well, there's also two overlapping bullish candles here. I believe this is the propulsion overlapping candle. So the O candle, obviously was going up to a certain price range. So this overlapping area is very important because it did come back and respect that area. So that overlapping candle is kind of like what ICT had in that purple. And so it didn't go any higher than that high right there. So that's really important to know. It happened on the 1 minute, and this happened on the daily. So it's something that you can kind of watch and back test for yourself. Here's some overlapping candles, and this one had a retracement. So that's, again, it's if we can anticipate where price is actually going to go next, I think this is a really strong indication that price is going to actually retrace or reverse altogether. So these overlapping candles, it continued up, and so there's a lot of examples. So on the daily here, this is a complete reversal. So again, this actually went down. The order flow for the daily was actually going down. So the bullish candles were actually the reversal signal, and then these overlapping candles were the propulsion. So it was just propelling price down to the liquidity. So there's a couple of overlapping candles here. There's bearish candles here that are overlapping. The next day is bullish. There's bearish candles here that are overlapping. The next day is bullish. So again, this is just a really great indication that we're reversing in price. So how many days that takes is kind of up to where price is being drawn to. So again, it's all about narrative. It's all about where the liquidity is residing. And so that's kind of where you got to put on your technical hat and your trader hat and actually go with the flow of the order flow. Okay, so here's two bearish candles, and the next day was bullish. And so again, this is just a really powerful strategy that I actually took advantage of the second bearish candle. And so that was where my sell was for my last trade. Okay, so again, I have a lot of examples. I'm going to share those examples with you today. Okay, so we're on the 1 hour, and you can see that there is a overlapping candle here on the 1 hour. There are some better examples, and so I'm just going to go back to some history. What I've found too in my back testing is that when we have the New York Open, the London Open, any kind of like last hour macro, those are even more powerful, because when you have overlapping candles, then it's typically turning around and going for the other side of liquidity. So this was a great example of the end of the day. It's starting to turn around and go for the buy side. So we have some overlapping candles here, and it retraced and then continued up. We have a retracement here, and then this continued up. So is again, with the overlapping candles, what happens next is typically the opposite direction. Okay, so here's a couple more examples. On the 6th, we had during Asian session, we kind of had some bullishness, and then we started dropping down. So just looking at that on the 1 hour, you can kind of anticipate that there's going to be some bearishness. Okay, down here we have the New York Open. This was overlapping, and so we had a retracement retracement, and then a continuation. Okay, and then here on the 28th, we had some bullishness. We had 3 overlapping candles and then a retracement. And then at the end of the day, so we have quite a bit of overlapping candles. So we have some overlapping candles here, we have some overlapping candles here, and then just look at what happened afterwards. So again, I just challenge you to actually look through your charts, kind of start training your eye to see these as well, because I'm not showing you every single example. I'm sure that you'll actually find some examples that I didn't find. And so in this video, I'm just showing you my discovery, and you can do what you want with this actual knowledge. All right, so let's drop down to the 15-minute. And so I'm gonna hide the 1 hour, and here's in the 15-minute. Okay, so we have a lot more examples on the 15-minute. So let's zoom in a little bit. I do like the 15-minute because it shows the 15-minute being really powerful. Again, there's narrative to this all, and so we have a bearish breaker here. This is overlapping, so that means that it's balanced, and so it shouldn't go any higher than the wick on that. And so you can always have your stop loss here and then write it down. Okay, so that's during the London session, and so let's move up to New York because that's where I trade, and that's where most of the traders trade. And so here comes the New York Stock Exchange open. So 9:30, we have the 9:30 open, we have the overlapping candle here, and what happens after that is really powerful. So you can see there is a strong sell off here, and you can anticipate that by looking at the 15-minute. And then we had some retracement, and then you can see overlapping candles here at 12:15. So the lunch hour retraced a little bit, consolidated, and then we reversed. So again, this is just all narrative. It's something that you can see here on the 15 is really clear. So what I found to be really powerful are the ones that are really obvious. So they're very obviously overlapping, and that's kind of the indication for me. Okay, so this is the 5-minute, and you can see here that we have some overlapping here. It did overlap and have another candle here with the volume imbalance, and then it retraced. All right, so again, it's all about narrative. We had some overlapping candles here in a retracement, and this is today's price action. So you can see here, there's a sell that you could have gotten 5 handles from, and then we reversed. Okay, just moving back in time, we have the overlap here, and this is around the New York open, and so it did overlap, and then this was the news, so it did spike up and disrespect that overlap. However, we did continue down. Okay, so during the London session, there was an overlap here, and then it reversed and went to the buy side. Okay, so I'm gonna just skip over the Asian session because there are more examples here. But if you can see here, the previous day, the last hour of trading, we had a reversal here. So there's overlapping candles here, and then it continued up. So this is kind of overlapping. So I believe that was more of a propulsion and balanced price range. And so that never was revisited. So that's really important to know and to kind of think about as well as far as narrative. All right, so here we took buy side and had overlapping candles on the 5-minute, and then reversed and retraced down to this order block and then went up. So again, this is all narrative. It's just really powerful when you can see this. And this is the retracement. There's overlapping candles, and then the next candle was bullish. All right, so again, this is at the lunch hour. And so the lunch hour had a run on sell side, and then we had overlapping candles, some consolidation, and then we started going for buy side. All right, so again, we had a retracement up. There's 2 overlapping candles here, and then we started going for sell side. And then 9:55, so the macro from 9:50 to 10:10, that's when the price starts running for the liquidity. And so that's where I believe this one was more of a propulsion to the downside. All right, so 7 o'clock during London, we did have some overlapping candles, and then it pushed up. So this was a small little retracement, only to go up a little bit and then to start falling. So again, this is something that's pretty powerful. You can see here, and what I'm going to do too is I'm actually going to turn on the 15-minute and the 1 hour examples. And so the 15-minute examples, you can see here, there's some overlapping here and there's some overlapping here. What's important about this is the New York Stock Exchange Open was here. And so if you have multiple examples that are basically sharing with you overlapping candles, I think that's even more powerful. So we have a 15-minute example here and a 5-minute example. So we're definitely running to liquidity. All right, so here we have some overlap. Here we have an overlap. So this was during London and we had this during the lunch hour today. Okay, so let me go up and just share with you what happened on Tuesday. So I didn't actually discover this until after Tuesday, and I missed the entry here because I was expecting more buy side to be taken. But had I looked at this is at the New York Open. So we had a 5-minute and then we had a 15-minute, which is green. Then we also had this coming into the New York Stock Exchange Open. We had the small little retracement and continuation. And then we had this during the news. So I definitely waited till after the news, and that's where we started running for sell side. Okay, I'm going to drop down to the 1 minute because the 1 minute has some examples as well. So let's turn these off. All right, so these are examples of the 1 minute. So the New York Open was 8 o'clock and we had some overlapping candles and a bearish move. Then we had some small little retracement and then a bearish move. So we had a lot of examples and a lot of entries that we could have entered on the 1 minute. All right, so there's a small little retracement here. Again, another small little retracement and then continuation. So what's great about this is that it will allow for a lot of entries if you are watching this on the 1 minute, if you're able. And this is down at the bottom. So this had a big bullish push up, a break in market structure. And so this is where the indication of it starting to go for buy side. So this is the overlapping candles for the 1 minute, and that was at 9:56. And so there's the bullish push. There's another small little retracement signal. And so there's a retracement down to the bullish breaker. And then we had some more O candles here, and we're up to this balanced price range again. And so we're pushing down, and then we have some more and a little retracement, and then some more and another retracement, and then a continuation. So that's kind of where I was expecting on the higher time frame, and that's where the higher time frame really comes into play, is I was expecting a bullish day today. So here's another couple of O candles, and then it continues up and does the continuation. So here's some propulsion past the buy side liquidity here, and then here's some retracements. So there's some propulsion down here, lots of overlapping candles here, and then we continue up. And so this is just more examples on the 1 minute. There's a whole lot of examples. However, it just comes down to the narrative of the overall. So doing a top-down analysis, watching for overlapping candles from the higher time frame to the lower time frame is really powerful. Okay, so my friends, I have a whole lot more examples, but I don't want this video to be an hour long. I think you get the point how powerful this can be for your trading, because if you can anticipate where price is going to go for the day, then all of your buys for today would have been really solid. And all of your sells for the past couple of days would have been really solid. So that's something that I'm going to be watching for on all different time frames, and really it helps me with my bias. It helps me with knowing when reversals and retracements are going to happen, and I hope it helps you as well. All right, my friends, if you got something from this, if you had a light bulb moment, I'd love to hear it in the comments below. But more importantly, I want you to go into your charts and apply this. Start trading it with your demo, start trading it with paper trading, and just see how powerful this can be for you. And then after you've actually gotten some results, after you've actually applied this, after you've really started keying in on this and watching this and adding this to your confirmations, then come back to this video and comment below, because I'd love to hear all about your results, all about your wins. All right, my friends, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I look forward to bringing more like this. So make sure that you're subscribing below so that you follow my journey from where I'm at to the 7-figure mark. I believe that this added confirmation is going to be super powerful, so watch for it in my coming videos. All right, have a great weekend. Have a happy Easter if you celebrate Easter, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.